And here we are again. Welcome once more. Haunted Houses, C.G. Harper, 1907. Fascinating book, can't put it down. Well, you know me with the paranormal. And here we have a tale from within this particular volume, Powis Castle in Wales. And this particular incident takes place in 1780 at Powis Castle, which is the seat of the Earl of Powis near Welshpool, and 1780 is the date here of the story. Castle Cock, or Red Castle as it is called by the Welsh, from the hue of its red sandstone walls, is a great frowning building, still outwardly a medieval fortress, although modernised for residential purposes within. If gloom to be the sign of a haunted house, then certainly Powis Castle should be inhabited by a veritable house party of ghosts. Indeed, many tales have been told of it, but we will select one only. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. It is to a Mr. John Hampson that we are chiefly indebted for this this preservation of this singular tale of over a century and a quarter ago. He was a locally celebrated preacher of the then new sect of Wesleyan Methodists, and hearing that one of his communion, a poor old spinster of the neighbourhood, who supported herself chiefly by hemp spinning and the like home industries, had seen the ghost that was well known to have haunted the castle for years. He made it his business to obtain the facts from her, and he put them onto record. Well, let's delve into that record, shall we? He said, she said that applying at Powis Castle for employment in spinning, she found the Earl and the family were away from home, and the castle in charge of the steward and a small staff of servants. The wife of the steward, however, found her sufficient work to keep her employed for some days, and she was given a bedroom in the house, which proved to be an apartment which had for some time past been the scene of inexplicable disturbances, one can only imagine, and had acquired the name of the Haunted Room. Let's just stop there for a brief lubrication. The Haunted Room, as it was known. The steward's wife had given her the room with the object of experimenting upon her and the apparition, and the rest of the servants were keenly interested in the cruel trick. The old woman, in narrating this strange story, told how the room was grandly furnished and had a genteel bed in the corner of it. Servants had made her a good fire and placed her a chair and a table before it, and a large lighted candle upon the table. They told her that it was her bedroom, and she might go to sleep whenever she pleased. Then, wishing her good night, they withdrew, pulling the door quickly after them, so as to hasp the spring sneck in the brass lock that was upon it. Typical Victorian description, that. Marvellous. Anyway, when they were gone, she gazed a while at the fine furniture, under no small astonishment that they should give such a room to so poor a person as herself. She was abashed at being the tenant of so grand an apartment and so fine a bed with the added convenience and comfort of the fire, and could not quite understand the servants so numerously escorting her to the place and so hurriedly withdrawing. She could not know, poor soul, that this was the haunted room, and that she was placed in it by way of experiment or practical joke. Down she sat, and in her pious way took out the small Welsh Bible she always carried with her, and of which she always read a chapter before she said her prayers and went to bed. Bless her. While she was thus reading, she heard the room door open, and, turning her head, saw a gentleman enter, clothed in a gold lace suit and hat. The plot thickened. He walked down by the sash window to the corner of the room, and then returned, resting his elbow on the bottom of the first window, and the side of his face upon the palm of his hand. In that posture he stood some time, with his side partly towards her. She looked at him earnestly to see if she knew him, but he appeared to be a stranger. She supposed afterwards that he stood in this manner to encourage her to speak. But as she did not, after some little time he walked off, pulling the door after him as the servants had done before. She began now to be much alarmed, concluding it to be an apparition, and that the servants had put her in the room on purpose, which was really the case. The little devils. The room, it appeared, had been disturbed for a long time, so that nobody could sleep in it, and as she passed for a very serious woman, the servants took it in their heads to put the Methodist and the spirit together to see what they would make of it. Startled at this thought, she rose from her chair and kneeled down by the bedside to say her prayers. While she was praying, the apparition returned, walked round the room, and came close behind her. Oh. She had it on her mind to speak, but when she attempted it, she was so greatly agitated that she could not speak a word. Oh, the poor thing. He then walked out of the room again, pulling the door after him as before. She begged that God would strengthen her and not suffer her to be tried beyond what she was able to bear. And then she recovered her spirits, felt more confident, and determined, if the apparition should again appear, to speak to him if possible this time. He presently came in again, walked round and came behind her as before, whereupon she said, "Pray, sir, who are you and what do you want?" The ghost put up his finger and said, "Take up the candle and follow me, and I will tell you." She got up, took the candle, and followed him out of the room. He led her through a long boarded passage till they came to the door of another room, which he opened and entered. It was a small room, or what might be called a large closet. As the room was small, and I believed him to be a spirit, she said, I stopped at the door. He turned and said, "Walk in, I will not hurt you." So I walked in. He said, "Observe what I do." I said, "I will." He stood and tore up one of the floorboards, and there appeared under it a box with an iron handle and a lid. He said, "Do you see that box?" Turn the page. "Do you see that box?" Can't turn the page fast enough. I said, "Yes, I do." Then he stepped to one side of the room and showed me a crevice in the wall where he said a key was hid that would open the box. Wow. He said, "This box and key must be taken out and sent to the Earl in London. Will you see it done?" I said, "I will do my best to get it done." He said, "Do, and I will trouble the house no more." He then walked out of the room and left me. I stepped to the room door and set up a shout. The steward and his wife with the other servants came to me immediately, all clinging together with lights in their hands. It seems they had all been waiting to see the issue of the interview betwixt me and the apparition. They asked me what was the matter, and I told them the story and showed them the box. The steward dare not meddle with it, but his wife had more courage, and with the help of other servants tugged it out and found the key. The old woman said the box seemed pretty heavy, but she did not see it opened, and therefore did not know what it contained. Perhaps money or writings of consequence to the family, or both. They took it away with them, and she then went to bed and slept peacefully till the morning. The box was duly sent to the Earl, and that nobleman returned a message to inform the poor woman that if she would come and reside with his family, she should be comfortably provided for all her days. What about that? Or that if she wished to live elsewhere, she would still be looked after. Wow. This and similar stories of apparitions haunting places for a specific purpose, which cannot be even hinted at until some spectator finds courage to speak, would seem to indicate that personal interest exists beyond the grave, and indeed among the many theories seeking to account for ghosts and haunting is found an application of the biblical adage, "Where your treasure is, there will your heart also be." It has often been thought that the affections of the dead survive their death and dwell long upon the people and the places they have loved in life. It is a beautiful thought, and carries with it of necessity the appalling corollary that if it be possible for the affections to survive, it is equally likely that hatreds are similarly immortal, and thus is the inimitable forces in that case ranged against us. In the unseen world, we would have some foundation for the once universal belief in evil spirits. Well, there we go. Here's a story from Powis Castle, Wales. Let's have a last look. The box. There you go. There's the castle. Only engravings in this old book, but there it is. That gives you the gist of the lie of the land. I dare say I'll find a photograph to show you of it in more detail. Haunted Houses, C.G. Harper, 1907. Nice to see you again. Keep your chin up and hope all goes well for you as we head towards the festive season. Nice to see you again. All the best until we meet again, and may your God go with you.